Hello, I see somebody logged in. I don't know who it is, but good morning. I'm just going to give a couple of moments. I had some technical difficulties getting started, but here we are. This is the first time I've used the live stream feature, so I'm a little new to the format of this. I'm used to doing these on Zoom, but I thought this might be a nice way to introduce some people to the community, to the practice that wouldn't otherwise sign up for a Zoom. So thank you, whoever is here. Appreciate you signing in. And I'm going to give maybe just like 2 minutes or so. Hey, Isabella. Good morning. Um, I'm going to give just a couple of minutes just to see if more people come in, but I'm going to say things you might want. We're basically just going to be seated for this practice. If you're not used to sitting on the ground, I recommend a chair, something that you feel like you can be comfortable, nice tall spine that you're going to feel rooted in your sitting bones and just feel lengthened all the way up through the crown of the head. So any comfortable seat, and you can adjust as many times as you want to throughout. We're going to move through several different breathing practices, and you could change whenever you want, but you'll have definite points where we'll end one breathing exercise, and that'll be a good opportunity for you to transition if you need to. I like this idea for the future. I didn't know that you could schedule it ahead of time, which probably would have been better for letting people know on YouTube, which is not a platform that I'm used to using, but starting to get more fluent with using it at this point. If you have a weighted blanket, I actually really like using mine. It's a nice way to really feel that your lower half can stay a little bit more rooted. So if you have something like that, or even just a blanket itself to give you a little bit more comfort, you're welcome to grab anything like that. I'm going to give us just one more minute, and then we will get started with whomever drops in at any point. And Happy New Year to all of you that are tuning in. Thanks for being here. This is my last thing that I'll be teaching before I go on my own meditation retreat. I'm doing just a week of silence and then going to spend most of the month in meditation, in and out, but going to do 1 month, excuse me, 1 week more hardcore fasting and just being in silence. I've been liking that to be a habit each year to just start the year off, clean the slate a little bit, let go of whatever doesn't need to be held on to from the previous year. And I'm going to assume that whoever is here is going to be here. So I'm just going to get us started for now. Again, I recommend if you're not used to sitting on the ground, you might want to just sit in a chair, something that you feel like you can be relatively comfortable in and feel rooted in your sitting bones. And if you're in a chair, in your feet. If you have a weighted blanket or something that will feel good for you to place over your lap just to help stay a little bit more rooted, that's a nice thing to grab if you don't already have it. So I'm going to assume that you have your seat and I'm going to get us started. And again, if you weren't in the room when I said this earlier, you can change your position as many times as you need to. If you can make it to the end of a breathing exercise before you have to switch the cross of the legs or whatever adjustments you make, that might be a nice time to be able to switch out. We'll be moving through several different pranayamas, several different breathing exercises. But the first one we're going to start with is Kapalabhati, breath of fire. So if you're not familiar with breath of fire, I recommend placing your hands at your navel just so that you can get a little bit of tactile input. Because each inhale we take, you're going to look for your navel to push your hands where you're feeling an expansiveness at the abdomen. And each exhale, you're intentionally drawing the navel into the spine. So you're compressing the abs with the exhale. With the inhale, you're going to again feel that the navel grows expansively. And with the exhale, you're drawing the navel towards your spine. So just get started there where you're feeling that you're moving the abs in the way that you're intending for them. Inhale, expansiveness. Exhale, compressing. And we'll go through that several times. In a few moments, we're going to only fill about a quarter to a third of the way. So it's only going to be a small fill. You're going to start to pump those exhales forcefully through the nose. And try to find a rhythm that you feel like you can sustain, that you can repeatedly move through over and over. Once you have that rhythm, just try to keep that moving, pumping through the nose. And again, if you feel like you now have that in the body, maybe you don't need your hands anymore, you might reach your arms up to a Y so that you can make yourself big and expansive, taking up lots of space. You can make your palms into cups so that if grace were raining down from above, you would be open and available to catch it. And just keep finding that pump over and over. And you might imagine that if you were on a bike and you were pedaling, you'd start to pick up a little bit of momentum. So every time that pedal moves around, the next one comes a little bit faster than the one that preceded. So if you can sustain the rhythm, see if you can increase the tempo. And just keep that moving. We're going to be here for about 60 more seconds. If at any point you feel like you're losing it, you can always slow it down. You can regain the technique that you're intending to find. Or if you feel like you really have the technique, keep speeding up that tempo, going faster and faster for the experience of going fast. Keep it moving. You have another 15 seconds to go as fast as you're able to, slowing down if you feel like you're losing your momentum. For 5 more seconds, we're going to take a huge inhale in 4, 3, 2, 1. Big inhale. Hold at the top just for a moment. And when you exhale, release your hands all the way down into your lap. You can keep the eyes open or closed. Let's just take a few slow, even inhales and exhales right here. Just feeling your breath restore to an even tempo once again and finding the capacity of your breath. So, as you just sit with this long, even breath right here, imagine that you can breathe both into the front and the back of your body. So, feeling that the abdomen expands, and perhaps you're even feeling that the back is expanding with breath as well as you take these slow, even inhales and exhales. You might sense that the diaphragm is feeling that it's pushing both up and down. So, you're feeling not only that the abdomen fills, but that the chest is also filling with breath. And again, feeling that both in the front as well as the back of the body. And lastly, you might imagine that the breath is expanding to the side waist as well, so that you're feeling it in the obliques and the side ribs. If we imagine that that first breath, that Kapalabhati, was all about clearing any stale air out of the body, out of your room, we're going to think of now generating a little bit more heat, a little bit more friction. So you might place your hands on your knees so that you have a good contact, fitting the ball of the knee into the mid of the palm. And each time you inhale, we're going to look for spinal extension, where you're lifting your chest up nice and high, you're tilting your hips, finding more of a cow pose in the body. And each time you exhale, we're going to round the back and look into the navel so that you're in a cat pose. So, linking your breath with your movement, with the inhales, you're finding that extended spine, that cow pose. And with the exhale, you're rounding your back, looking into the navel, finding the cat pose. Let's just keep moving back and forth, inhaling and exhaling. And again, whatever rhythm is appropriate for you, that you feel like you can continue to let the breath be a motor that's guiding the tempo of your movement. That's the speed you're moving at as you look to create a little bit of friction, the idea of generating a little bit of heat as you move back and forth here. Look to make your breath audible to yourself so that you can listen to it as a impetus for how fast you're going to move. And once you feel like you've generated a little bit of heat, let's start to circle around those cows and cats, feeling like you're circling your spine, stirring the heat that you've generated around. Still looking to line up the inhale with the extended spine and the exhale with the rounded, flexed back. Adjusting your tempo accordingly and just trying to keep it moving throughout. You've stirred in one direction for a little while, so go ahead and reverse that, stirring in the opposite direction. Imagining that if you were to stir only in one direction, it would only send the heat in one direction, as if you were creating a whirlpool, just stirring around a pot of soup. You'd also want to stir in the opposite direction so you can distribute that heat equally. So keep this moving, and you have these three techniques that you can move between as you're called to do. Whenever you're ready to generate heat, you're going to go back to the regular cows and cats again, just that normal back and forth cow and cat. If at any point you start to feel like you're getting overheated, if you start to feel like you're getting agitated, then look to circle that heat around, look to stir it around so that you're taking a moment to cool it off. And if you feel like you're getting too cooled off, if you're getting confused, if you're losing the link of the breath with the movement, Then make sure that you circle the other way and then eventually go back to just generating heat again. Keep moving as you're called to do. I'm going to be silent for the next 90 seconds while you move through whatever techniques in those three you're called to do. Keep it moving. You have 45 seconds left to go. If you feel like you're losing it, slowing down so that you can just make sure that you're sustaining some sense of breath and movement. And if you have some energy left in your system, you have 30 seconds left to sprint toward a finish line. 10 more seconds, as fast as you're able to go. We're going to stop after an exhale this time in 5, 4, 3, 2. On that exhale, hold the navel to the spine, the chin to the chest. Feel like you're pulling the navel in as you're also lifting up through the bathroom muscles. If you're squeezing in, stopping yourself from peeing. On an inhale, lift your chest up. Take that huge inhale, fill everything up. And in the exhale, just come to a neutral spine. And again, the eyes can be open or closed as you return back to capacity, feeling that the inhales are expanding both forward and back, up and down, and the exhales are slow and even as you empty everything out. You might imagine with every exhale that you're becoming rooted more and more, feeling the sitting bones making contact with your seat. And with every inhale, you're finding that expansiveness, that forward and back, that up and down that allows your spine to stay tall. So reach your arms out toward a T just for a moment. We're going to interlace your hands behind your back with your palms facing away from you so that the fingers are interlaced, sort of like they're a tennis racket, and your elbows will be out to the side. We're going to think that we got a fire going, and now we want to fan the embers that may have, as the flames died down, essentially. So we're going to move back to that Kapalabhati, that forceful exhale. You're linking the exhale with the flapping of the elbows. With 45 seconds left in this variation, slow it down if you start to lose it, speed it up if you have the breath linked with the movement. 15 more seconds to sprint toward the finish line. 10, quick as you can go. We're going to take a huge inhale in 5, 4, 3, 2, big inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the Y. Fill everything to the top. Hold at the top just for a moment. When you exhale, bring your hands to your shoulders so that now you're fitting the ball of the shoulder into the mid of the palm. And we're going to go right back into that fanning of the flames, looking to get that fire hotter and hotter. So whenever you're ready, same breath, Kapalabhati. You may be able to get a little bit more movement in the body now that you have a little bit more openness in the arms. Look to fan as much as you can and keep moving the tempo. You have about a minute to go here at whatever tempo feels appropriate for you. Ten more seconds to sprint to the finish line. 5 seconds. We're going to take that huge inhale again in 3, 2, 1. Nice big inhale. Reach your arms all the way up to the Y. Make yourself expansive. Hold the inhale for a moment. When you exhale, release your hands down into your lap. Again, with the inhale, feel the expansiveness, feel the length in your spine. With the exhale, observe the rootedness in your lower half. Allowing the breath to be slow and even and settled for these few moments right here. With this sequence of pranayama, of these breathing exercises that we're moving through, you might imagine that you are attempting to climb a mountain, and the first several breaths that we did, you were just at the bottom of that mountain, and now we're traversing higher and higher, and we're getting up to where the altitude gets a little bit higher, gets a little bit harder to take breath in. So for these last few breathing exercises, we're going to look to breathe even a little bit faster, a little bit deeper, bringing more and more air back into the body. Let's bring your hands back to your shoulders once again. And now, as you're moving up higher and higher to the peak, every time you inhale, you're going to turn towards your left, and every time you exhale, turn the body to the right. Each inhale, turning to the left, and the exhale, turning to the right. So this is the Bhastrika once again, deep inhales and complete exhales. 15 more seconds, big inhales and exhales. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice big inhale. Reach your arms up to the Y, nice and expansive in the body. When you exhale, interlace your hands behind your head like you're going to do a headstand at this point. We're going to go right back into traversing that mountain. On the inhales, you're turning to the left. On the exhales, you're turning to the right. Inhale and exhale, back and forth. You're reaching the summit, so going as fast as you can. We have 60 more seconds of as fast as you can possibly go. 25 more seconds. 15 seconds to sprint to the top as fast as you can possibly go for 10. We're going to take a big inhale in 8, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take that huge inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the Y, hold at the top. On your exhale, just release your hands all the way down into the lap. You might close the eyes as you once again return to full, deep, slow inhalations, emptying on the exhale and feeling the sense of rooting in your lower half. Allowing everything to settle for a few moments. You've essentially reached the peak of the mountain, the summit. Allow everything to calm down and just take in the view from the top. Attempt to stay relatively relaxed in the body. We're going to bring the attention into the inhale specifically for a few more moments. And we'll allow that attention to be the expansiveness that we pointed to earlier, so that you're feeling like the diaphragm is pushing both up and down. So you want to feel that you're able to find capacity of your breath, filling your lower lungs, pushing almost down into the abdomen, as well as your upper lungs, reaching all the way up into the chest, into the throat. You want to feel that those inhales are both up and down and also forward and back, as if you could push the breath not only into the front of the body, but also into the kidneys and the upper back. So finding big, full, deep inhales. Allow your exhales to be relatively passive. So you're not holding on to the breath, you're just allowing whatever escapes to escape. You're not forcing the exhale, but rather you're just focusing on the inhale being big, capacity. And again, using that metaphor that we're at the top of the mountain, you want to make sure that you have enough oxygen to sustain you, because we're going to spend a little bit more time up here. But first, we're going to look to make sure that you have plenty in your body so you're able to sit still for a longer period of time in a few moments. So big inhales, relax passive exhales. Inhale ideally through the nose if possible. Exhale through lightly parted lips. Big, forceful inhales. Relaxed, passive exhales. Keep moving on your own. We're going to say we have about 10 more to go, depending on how fast you move through them. After about these next 9 or so, you're going to stop after an exhale. So keep taking big inhales. You have about 8 more to go. Relaxed exhales. After about 7 more, we're going to stop after one of those passive exhales. And you're going to stay relaxed after that exhale for as long as you can possibly stay still and relatively empty. So you have about 5 more in my count. Big inhales. Relaxed exhales, growing even more intense, almost like you're really trying to bring in those last little bits of oxygen. 3, 2, even more intense. 1 more. Exhale, stop right there. Try to stay still and empty for however long it serves you. You're going to stay there as long as you're able to do. When you do need to take an inhale, just allow it to be slow and relaxed and calm once again. We're going to move into another cycle of that same breathing exercise, the yang inhale, the relaxed yin exhale. So, whenever you're ready, find that big, deep capacity inhale once again. Passive exhale. Big inhale. Relaxed exhale. We're going to say we have about a dozen to go. You're moving through big inhales and passive exhales. You know the exercise this time, so keep moving on your own. After you move through 10 more, you're going to stop after that exhale and hold for as long as it serves you. Okay. So we've raised all the energy that we're going to look to raise during this practice, but now we're going to look to circulate that energy around a little bit. So we'll use your right hand for Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. You might tuck your index and your middle finger into your palm so that you can use your thumb to close off your right nostril as you take an inhale through your left nostril. And then you'll use the ring finger to close off the left nostril as you exhale through the right. Using the thumb to close off that nostril as you take an inhale through the left. Using the ring finger to close so that you can exhale through the right. Let's take just a couple more just like that. Thumb closes off as you inhale. Ring finger closes as you exhale. One more each. Once you've exhaled, you can release that hand. We're going to switch to the other hand. So again, index and middle finger tuck into the palm. Now the thumb is closing off the left nostril so that you can inhale through the right. Ring finger closes off so that you can exhale through the left. Thumb closes as you inhale through the right. Ring finger closes, you're exhaling through the left. 2 more cycles. When you finish that 4th exhale, just release that hand. We're going to go back to the right hand once again. And this time, same as before, we're closing with the thumb. We're going to inhale as before through the left side. Using the ring finger to close so that you're exhaling through the right side. And then we'll stay on this side in order to inhale through the right. And you're only switching for the exhale, excuse me. You're staying on the side that you exhaled through to take the inhale. And you're only switching when it's time to exhale. Staying on that side to inhale. Switching for exhales. This is the pattern. We're going to stick with this pattern. But if you decide that you'd like to add a little bit more complexity to it, you can imagine that you're filling the opposite lung to whatever nostril you're inhaling into. So if you're inhaling into your right nostril, that means you're attempting to fill your left lung. And then when you exhale that left nostril, you're emptying out the whole left side, nostril and lung. As you inhale through left nostril, you're attempting to fill the right lung. One of the next times that you exhale through your left nostril, you might release the hand But imagine that you can still inhale just through that one side and switching on the exhale. So perhaps you've released the hand, but you're still continuing with the Nadi Shodhana, at the very least in your imagination. Maybe you're even filling that opposite lung as you breathe in through the one nostril and out the other. We're going to be here for the next several moments. You can continue to use this as an anchor for your own meditation practice, that you're just following the breath, moving through one nostril into the opposite lung, and then out of the other side, out of that lung. You might continue with a similar rhythm to your breath, but begin to take the breath through both nostrils and exhaling through both. You might imagine now that each inhale is as though the breath is rising up the front of the body. There's a slight pause at the top before you exhale down the back of the body, and a slight pause at the bottom where you're empty. It's as if you're inhaling for spring, holding for the fullness of summer, exhaling and letting go in autumn, and you're empty and available in winter so that you can inhale once again for spring. Holding for the full bloom of summer, exhaling and letting go for autumn, and you're empty and available in winter to have another spring. You might continue to move with the breath of the seasons as now you're circulating the breath from the front and the back of the body, if only in your imagination. We will be here for the next 5 to 10 minutes. Let's fold your palms in front of your chest. So you might take a moment to give thanks to yourself for taking the time out for a practice. Thanks to those who support your practice. And thanks to any divine consciousness or cosmic coincidence that gave you a body in which to practice. Thank you. Namaste. Thanks so much for joining me for this. I think this is a nice medium to try to do these periodically. Again, I'm going to be off grid for 2 weeks officially and a month sort of unofficially. But if you're looking for practice resources, noamoves.com is my website. And if you go to the education portal on the website, there's a bunch of blogs on movement, breathing, meditation. I have a meditation course that is for sale there. It's in beta right now, which is why it's very inexpensive. I'm hoping maybe within this year or so to improve it, get some better videos up. Thanks, Pat. Thanks for being here. I'm probably going to do this toward late January as I'm kind of coming out of my meditation retreat, and I appreciate you encouraging and asking for them. It's good to know there's people out there that want to consume my stuff, or not my stuff. This is mostly taken from Katona Yoga. A lot, my teacher Naveen Makan, yeah, a lot of her stuff, and some Wim Hof, who is a interesting character, the Iceman. So check out those resources, Katona, Wim Hof, and yeah, thank you all, and I hope to see you real soon. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Isabella. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.